Hello, and welcome
to the Lume Plotters.
Yep, we're back.
Yes, with our sensual voices.
Sexy voices. So what we can discuss today depends on what you're wearing on your wrist.
What do you think I'm wearing?
I mean, it could be that you're still wearing the Pelagos 39 because
I am still wearing the Pelagos
because it's glued to your skin at the moment.
It is. I don't know. It works in every setting. I enjoy it a lot. I like the titanium. Although I went to Abu Dhabi the other day. I wanted to try the Longines Heritage Zulu Time, the Hodinky edition.
Yes.
The European jewelry guys have one. Mm-hmm. And they're asking an absurd amount of money for it, but I wanted to just see it in the metal. And I picked that one up. That one's grade 5 titanium. So I don't know if there's a difference in weight between grade 2 and grade 5, but I picked up that one, which is the same size as 39 mm and 21 millimeter lug width, tapers to 16. Like every dimension is identical to the Pelagos. And it felt like half the weight of the Pelagos. And whoa. I don't know why. Huh. But that one's grade 5 and this one's grade 2.
I think in the weight they don't there's not much difference. But I think it both had the also a titanium bracelet, or do you not?
Yeah, titanium bracelet, everything, and it was just, I don't know, it just felt so much lighter than the Pelagos. And the Pelagos already feels light.
Yeah, must be the movement then.
Yeah, I think so.
The Pelagos 39 was my most worn watch, right? So
was it?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, so I think in one of the years. So I must say it's a wonderful watch. It's perfect. And again,
it definitely
if I didn't have it, something that can replace it coming in maybe this year, then then I wouldn't have sold it. But
bigger Pelagos.
Maybe maybe that one, but maybe something else. I will see. Yeah, so that's great. I mean, I like that you're enjoying it. It's a fantastic watch.
I'm enjoying. I would say the two watches I wear the most alternating are the Black Bay 54 and this.
Yeah, Black Bay 54 is a Tapwick. Ooh.
Oh, it is.
But before we're doing this, let me show you what I'm wearing. If I'm a bit lazy, I take it off. It's easier to
Daytona.
show. No.
The Grand Seiko.
Grand Seiko. Seiko.
This one's titanium as well, no?
This is titanium, but it also feels relatively heavy for a titanium watch. And it's a shiny titanium. This is what.
But the movement is heavy in it. The movement is heavy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's the high beat. It's tall.
If you think about it, what is in the Longines? It's going to be some ETA
and
nonsense, right?
Probably a 2892 or 2824. But
it's a GMT and it's a Flyer GMT. So I don't know which Flyer GMT
then
ETA has.
That must be an update on the 2892 something. Maybe they did that. I don't know.
But I picked it up and I was amazed.
Let's check it. That's why I'm sharing my screen. I'm showing you and I'm showing our listeners.
You're not sharing your screen.
Yeah, just a second. I'm on it.
There you go. Now you are. So this is the Zulu Time GMT. Longines Zulu Time GMT.
I just search for Zulu. Watchbase is the complete online watch database, which we are not associated
too many Zulus.
We are just...
Longines. Click Longines up there.
Wait a second.
Top left. Top left.
Vemper?
No. It's called the Longines Spirit Zulu Time GMT.
39
so
millimeters?
39.
This
39,
one, titanium.
Yeah.
Boom. Oh, that's
a GMT,
that's
though.
Nice. It's a nice watch.
This is not a GMT.
That's not it.
This is the base.
Oh, no, it says Zulu Time. There.
Yeah, but Zulu Time is both a GMT and a non-GMT function. So Zulu Time is the name of the watch.
Okay.
Zulu Time GMT, or is it not?
It has here an additional 24
No, it is GMT. Sorry. Yeah. You're right. Spirit is the product.
Listen,
line.
39 millimeters diameter, 21 millimeter lug width, same as the Pelagos 39.
Yes, that's what I was. Yeah.
Really, that's very suspicious. So, what is the caliber? It is, let me open this in a new link. It's the Longines caliber L844.4, which is a self-winding movement with a silicon balance spring, which is pretty cool, same as the Pelagos, also silicon, based on the ETA A31.411.
Yeah, so it's LO1 is a Longines movement.
Which is an updated version, with 65 hours of power reserve, 25,200 beats per...
2892, you were right.
And it is an updated version of the 2892-A2. So this is the thing that ETA or the Swatch Group does. they are selling still the old 2892 A2 to everybody else outside of the Swatch group, and the updated versions, like with 65 hours of power reserve, because the other one here, this old base version has 42, right? So here, 42. And so these updated versions, especially with silicone and all of its updates, really technological updates, they keep for themselves. They don't sell these. I think Celita, to a certain extent, they do the same. They upgrade some movements and then sell them for more money as well. But this is then a different upgrade from ETA. So, yeah. Anyhow, so that's a good movement. Tried and tested, so you have all the reliability of the old one, plus the the technological advancements, basically, of the Swatch group, which is pretty cool. But wait a second.
So,
it says here that it has a 24-hour hand adjustable. So the 24-hour hand is adjustable? I thought you said it's a flyer.
It is a flyer.
Not a caller.
No, it's not a collar. Who's telling you? Yeah, so I'm assuming they modified it then. They must have.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I found the weight. So the Pelagos 39 on the bracelet weighs 107 grams.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
The Zulu weighs 95.
Wow.
So 12 grams lighter.
You can,
feel
that because it's 10%. I mean, it sounds 10%. Like how can you feel 12 grams, but you can.
It was very light. So I guess movement stuff, I don't know.
It's very fun. There's another resource that I really like to check always is the Caliber Corner. Then Hodinkee as well. 65 hours. Watchbase says the movement has 65 hours. Hodinkee says it's 72 hours. Who knows?
So apparently now, because it is chronometer certified.
Oh.
And apparently there's a new thing with chronometer certified, at least with master chronometer certified, they have to do this now. They cannot claim the full runtime of the watch. They have to claim the window where it is accurate. So you can only claim the window where it's running in the chronometer or master chronometer certification. So this means, yes, it's 72-hour power reserve, but within that time, at the beginning and the end, it is running outside of chronometer certification. Therefore, it is only running within spec for that 65 hours.
Interesting. Talking about specs, a topic that I haven't introduced to you before, but I want to introduce now, we need to talk about it, is, and I think this should be a topic of this discussion, a new standard is coming. So the COSC has come out and said, here we understand there is this standard for the mechanical movements has not been updated since 71, 72, somewhere in the 70s, I guess, or 76 or whatever. No, sorry.
73.
It was only founded.
No, it was founded. So who knows?
So they have this mechanical blah, 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 the standard, and they have updated over time, but it's not really evolved that much. So they're saying, we want to do a new one. Now we have master chronometer, we have superlative chronometer, we have whatever, the Geneva seal, and so many other standards. We need something higher than what we had before because technological advancements, you can make mechanical movements much more precise than what we thought in 1976. The current standard dates back to 1976. So it's about 50-ish years, 49 years old. So that means they want to do it differently and they want to do it better. And they also, interesting tidbit before we go to something else, they say that obtaining the COSC certificate even today is not easy. There's still a lot of brands failing. Between 3 and 5% of the movements they sent into the test fail the test. Think about this.
I'm not surprised. It depends on what
yeah.
But who's sending it in, right? So if you have Seagull sending in some, it's not made in Switzerland.
It has to be Swiss.
Yeah, it has to be Swiss. But I mean, we were talking Tissot and these lower end models. I wouldn't be surprised, if they would fail. They could be hoping that they pass, right? So I'm guessing there's so many of these micro brands as well that are using Swiss made movements and manufactured in Switzerland that they could also be trying to get COSC certification. Longines, on some of their stuff, they're doing COSC certification, but I'm guessing the ones that are failing are the brands that have a lot of non-COSC certified models and want to have one or two that are COSC certified, right?
I mean, Breitling certifies all watches.
Everything. So I don't think they're
Rolex
failing, right?
certifies everything they do. Omega, I think everything that's master chronometer must have a chronometer certification before. So it is also COSC certified.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's interesting. But they're saying they believe it's to go beyond precision. They want to have this standard updated, and they want to have a new Super COSC, a type of Super COSC certification. That is not the name that they're chosen, but they're saying this is in quotation marks, like a Super COSC. And they want to do the same or similar to what the master chronometer certification is, like water resistance tests, magnetic field resistance test, power reserve tests, and so on. And they want to test it in the watch, in the cased version of the watch. So that's, I think, what they are going for. And it will be very interesting to see of what they actually want to do. And I think that's something that is, I mean, they have, kudos to them. They have scaled up the chronometer testing without being a bottleneck for the watchmakers, right? I mean, now with Rolex selling 1 million watches, they have to certify 1 million movements, right? Or more, depending on how many fail. But this is not a small feat. But on the other hand, the certification numbers, the numbers of the Swiss watch industry are going down recently, right? We know that the revenue goes up because more and more watches are getting more expensive, but the numbers are going down. So maybe COSC just sees it from an economical standpoint. I'm talking here purely hypothetically, but they're saying, well, our revenue goes down because less and less Swiss watches are chronometer certified because the watches that we certify are more expensive. Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe, I don't even think they send it to chronometer testing. They're beyond that. They have their own seal, right? They have their own testing.
Yeah.
So I don't think they actually send it to chronometer certification. Vacheron Constantin has their own Geneva seal. So they also, I don't think, do this chronometer testing unless it's a precursor for the Geneva seal as well, which I don't know. But anyhow, there's a lot of different things. So maybe they're saying, well, we can't certify more watches because it won't grow. There will not be any growth in certification for chronometers because the sales of these watches is not growing up, but the price is going up. So we need to have a higher standard that we can do additional testing, which costs them more money, and then they can make more revenue, which is great. So I guess that's their reasoning for that, to just circumvent that. And of course, not to be left behind. Even though...
Do you care if something is chronometer certified?
See, it actually depends what kind of watch it is. I do like precision, and I have made countless of spreadsheets of testing the precision of my watches and the power reserve and all of this stuff, right? I did week-long tests of winding it up fully and then seeing how long it takes. And most of the cases, and I still might have this spreadsheet somewhere, it was funny that Rolex and Tudor was basically spot on.
Always spot on.
It's like
it's unbelievable.
If they said 70 hours, Tudor was sometimes an hour less, but never more than an hour more. So it was really just in that window. But
I've also felt that my Tudors and Rolexes have always been the most precise watches as well.
Yes,
in terms of how they run.
For me, even I think Tudor more so than Rolex, strangely. But.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's put it this way. I've had more Tudors than I have had Rolexes. And in those Tudors that I've had, of course, I didn't keep them for very long. So we're not talking 10 years down the line.
Yes, that's true.
But in the 2 years that I've had these Tudors, they never missed a beat, except for that one. Remember I told you about this?
Yes.
I jumped off a cliff into a pool and the watch stopped, and I kind of shit my pants a little bit. Like I broke the watch. And the first thing is I checked if the crown was screwed in. But I think what was happening is I must have just gotten the watch off of, out of the watch box. It was dead. My go-to when I would do this is I'd give it 10 winds maybe, and then just set it and forget it, right? So I'm guessing it was either running out of time. So if I pick it up, it's still running. I'm not going to deal with it. So I went straight from my house to the pool. And then there's this like kind of wall that I jump off of. And it's, 3 meters tall. And it's a big shock for the watch. So I'm guessing what happened was it stopped running. Didn't this one also stop running, by the way?
I thought once, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it has something to do with just the fact that it was either out of
something weird
of power. That's it. So, and it stopped.
Anyhow,
and then it takes. Yeah. We know this with Seikos, right? If you take a Seiko, not a Grand Seiko, a regular Seiko, and you give it a tiny little nudge, it immediately starts ticking.
It
right?
is super efficient. The winding system is super efficient. But I tried.
But you don't do this with Rolex.
I was thinking this the exact same thing. I picked up my Grand Seiko this morning, and I thought, let me not wind it. Let me wear it until it starts ticking. So I walked around the house for like 20 minutes and was still not ticking. So I thought, yeah. And then I shook it and shook it and shook it. And I thought, let's see what happens, right? And then I gave up because I just wanted to set the time. So because it's also high beat, so it probably needs a bit more to get started and all of this stuff. But yeah, it's not like a normal Seiko 5 you pick up and that's already
immediately.
enough.
And the other watch that I had that was very, very hard to get going, and it's notoriously hard to get going, is the Oris Caliber 400.
Yeah,
because it has
this humongously big hairspring, right? With a 5 days.
No, it has 2 hairsprings.
Also in series. That means
so two. But you have to give it. I think I don't even know how many winds. Like you're talking 50 winds to get it even started. It was an absolute pain.
Yeah,
but once it was running, it ran forever, right? So that was the benefit.
Yeah. So just finishing the topic with some certification. We do not know what is the name of the standard. We do not know what the standard will be. I assume it will be very similar to the master chronometer standard, probably a bit tighter, because, in the end, why do it if you're not doing it a bit better, right? If you just
and they should be casing things. I think that's another thing.
They do. They set this in this way here. Thermal testing, that's all the old one. They're saying here, today, we face 2 main criticisms. The current standard dates back to 1976 and has seen very little evolution since. When we primarily certify movements, raising the question, what happens after the movement is certified? Exactly. So a lot of these movement tests are done here with so-called service dials or just test dials. So they are not the finished dials. They don't have hands. Or maybe they have hands. I think they have hands. They have hands and some white dial or something, just paper dial, I have no idea. And they just put it in, send it to testing, it comes back, they remove the stuff, they put it in a put the dial on, put the hands on, put it in a case or whatever. And it can take months between that, right?
Yeah.
Or even years sometimes. I had a watch that had a chronometer certification of before the watch brand was even founded. That movement. That was completely insane because the movement
was older than the watch.
Was way older than even the company that used the movement.
Yeah. So which company was this?
Bremont, I think.
So because they must have bought a set of movements from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
That was already certified in case.
They have bought this, and of course, maybe they just put it, or the watch wasn't sold for a while. It's also possible. Who knows? But it was, and I thought, wow, this is quite an old chronometer certification. But then it all makes sense. So it's fine. But that's the point. And they're saying that's the difference between what we do and what people expect nowadays, which is what happens when afterwards. And if you test it in a completely encased watch, then that's it, right? You have the proof that this watch was working as the watch is right now to these specifications. And I think, and Andreas Wyss, the CEO of the COSC, has said that in an interview with Monochrome Watches. And it was really, really nice. It's a good read. It's not very long. It's about, what is it here? 3 minutes. That's what I like. And watch blogs, they tell you very often how long the read is. 5 minutes read.
Start your chronographs.
Yes, chronographs. So that is, I think, very big news we have this.
It's interesting. I don't know, once again,
but
if COSC offers value anymore, right? Look at your Grand Seiko. Of course, no certification whatsoever.
Oh, they have their own
as you said,
standard.
So this is, I think, when you talk about ETA movements.
But wait a second. Grand Seiko has its own standard. All mechanical movements are -3 to +5. So 2 seconds.
Not quite. There is if you look at it, if it's high beat, it has one range. If it's hand winding, it has one range. If it's automatic, it has one range. And they give a bunch of different specifics.
Okay.
So mine is automatic winding GMT. And for that, it goes up to like almost 8 seconds a day.
Yeah, but COSC is -6.
Not COSC. Well, this is Grand Seiko, right?
COSC is -4 to +6, so it's 10 seconds.
Yeah. 10 seconds spread, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know where you can find this information. There was good. I found it eventually.
Maybe in the FAQs.
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh. What is the accuracy? Oh, yeah, here. The accuracy of mechanical watch is very slightly from blah, 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 mean daily rate, accuracy of the mechanical watch.
Grand Seiko -1 to +10.
The target accuracy range to determine, that's...
yeah. And then once again, they give you more info if you go dig deeper into it. So -1 +10 is their average for Grand Seikos. However, a lot of Grand Seikos are better than this.
Yeah.
So mine is this -1 +10 because mine is essentially the base caliber.
Weird. Because I remember reading that Grand Seiko had this -3 to +5.
3 +4
or maybe
something.
That's the German
exactly.
chronometer standard, because that's also, that's I think the same. But I thought Grand Seiko and the German one are the same. They're like a -3 +5.
I did. Once again, there's a website somewhere that tells you a bunch of breakdowns. Maybe it was in the manual of all of the different types of Grand Seikos and what each one's specific accuracy is.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you have a quartz Grand Seiko or a high beat or a spring drive, these are all going to have vastly different standards. Not standards, but
yes, sure. Spring drive is, I think, half a second, 10 seconds a month, or something. No, what is 15 seconds a month? So it's half a second a day, maximum deviation. And it's very much more precise than that. In my experience, I had two spring drives, and they were, I think, in a month, +1 or 2 seconds. So it was very precise.
My Grand Seiko now is the one that I got used just recently to replace my old one. Is now 5 years old, I think. And this one is about +10 seconds a day. Wow. And that's when I went down this whole thing is +10 seconds a day still within spec? And apparently it is. So I didn't mess with it.
Ridiculous. So yeah,
I know.
That's the good thing about our non-scripted way of doing our podcast, because now we talked about your Longines and we went into the Super COSC standard, and now we can
for all the people that are commenting that we should have a script and that we should have a stop doing tangential, what do you call it? Asides.
I'm sorry. That's how it works. That's how we cross-pollinate our podcast.
Yes, cross-pollinate podcast. All right. Now, we've already mentioned the Tudor Black Bay 54 today, so it's only fair that we talk about the Tudor Black Bay 54, whatever it's called.
What do we have? Lagoon Blue.
Lagoon Blue. That's what it is.
But
yes, Lagoon.
This time, it's Lagoon is actually really blue, right?
It is.
Not
it
like
is.
a flamingo
like
blue. But this is
so
universally, this watch was.
My wife saw this and was immediately like, "I want one." Yeah, and then I told her, "Why don't you try on my Black Bay 54 to see if you like the size?" She put it on. She goes, "Oh, I should wear this one more." So
now you're out of a watch on your watch box. You know where to find it. But you know what? Everybody who saw the watch, also with a grained.
It's cool.
Thing. And then also because it's a high polished bezel.
I mean, once again, the only high polished bezel that I know of is Doxa.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, it looks black in some light and looks silver in some light.
People said it looks so different on different photos because of that, the reflections and things. And it's cool. I mean, I have not seen anyone who said, I don't like it so far. I mean, some people
everyone
said,
liked it.
Most of them, that's like, wow, that's cool.
So here's the things that I like. First and foremost, there's a lot of things they could have easily screwed up in this, right? They could have done the black bezel, which would have immediately turned a lot of people off. I love the fact, look, the graining on the dial looks awesome. But what I like most is that they used dark blue instead of black as the text.
Right.
And I think the light blue and dark blue, it just meshes so well. Yeah. The polish. And then on top of this, they put the Jubilee bracelet on it.
Yes.
It is very, very cool.
Now, the question, of course, is, will this Jubilee bracelet fit on your
I think so, 54? Of course.
If it does,
I mean, they're not coming out with new cases here. It must fit. Now, I just saw on Instagram today, by the way, that Mark Cho, the founder of Drake's in the Armory, he was always a fan of the Black Bay 54. And so much so that he came out with a Armory edition Black Bay 54. I think it was 50 pieces. It said the Armory on the dial. It was super cool. Very minimal change. But now he bought this one. And he said, it's very strange that I have 3 Black Bay 54s. He has this one, the original, and then the Armory version. Yeah, he said that specifically he thinks that this one is a little bit harder to wear for men, is what he said. Harder, yeah. So he said specifically that he believes, let me look up his exact words so I'm not messing up what he's saying. But he said in this, somehow I have now 3 Tudor Black Bay 54s, the standard original, the Armory Special Edition, and the new blue dial. I want to point out a few interesting facts, blah, 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 blah. Regarding the newly released sandy blue variation, it's got the new Jubilee bracelet, which is very nice. The bezel is polished steel, and the dial is bright blue with a textured but shiny finish. To be honest, I think this one works better on a lady than a gent, but try one on and decide for yourself.
Yeah.
So
2 indications. In the press kit, and I encourage everybody to just go to the Tudor Watch website, tudorwatch.com, go on the bottom and go to the press room. It doesn't require a subscription. And you can go and get the PDFs of the press releases, which have a lot of additional information. And
pictures and stuff. Hold on. Before you go, I want to read what they said. This is Tudor's, what do you want to call it? Caption or whatever for this watch, right?
Yeah. Okay.
A watch might display the time, but this watch makes time melt away.
Yeah, that's ChatGPT marketing slogan.
so buy a watch, but don't tell the time with it. Okay.
And then the next sentence is also cool.
Thanks, Tudor.
Pack your bags because we are going somewhere idyllic. Seriously? Okay. And this lady is, of course, holding her hand in front of her face, thumbs down.
And don't get me started with people that wear watches on the inside.
No, she had to, because otherwise you can't see the watch, because this is just marketing shit, right? So,
well, you could go like this. I mean, why should, I guess, covering her face from the sun.
Mirror polished bezels, and even they're saying that reflects your sun-soaked surroundings like big blue skies and endless horizons.
Sand-textured Lagoon Blue dial that's reminiscent of the sea, sun, and the slow life.
Yeah. So, I don't even know where to start. So, what you saw, first page, lady wearing the watch. Then
second
on page,
third page.
I don't know what it is.
The second page was just pictures of the watch.
Yeah.
No person.
Specs. Then there's this whole marketing text. Wearing a Tudor has the power to mentally transport you somewhere. Did you know that?
I do.
That you are
every time I wear my Tudor,
somewhere.
I'm always transported to, as I'm a French Navy SEAL or whatever they call it.
And they're saying it can shift your mindset wearing a watch. And anyhow, so this is all the marketing text and a picture of a lady in
a lady again.
Cool linen.
This time she's wearing it the right way around.
Very pretty, all fine. Then next picture, a lady,
another
hand
lady
again wearing the watch, right? Then technical 5-link bracelet, then the movement. And again, here they're saying that here it is Tudor standard -2 to +4 tested after full assembly of the watch. Ta-da-da, right? Because I don't know, is this master chronometer?
No, it's not.
It's not. But it has the Tudor standard. So -2 +4. So that's beyond chronometer standard. So it's, of course,
and it's just shy of Rolex standards. I love it. It's like 2 seconds off. And then finally on
page 7
whatever
of 12,
this is, 7, we get
a man. Also dressed in the same color linen stuff with a jacket that you should like.
I think this is what they call a safari jacket.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, not. Yeah. Anyhow, so this is it. It's it's that, and then we're going back to ladies.
2 more ladies.
Ladies. So, and that was it. I think there is no more ladies
pictures.
But
okay, so all said and done, in 12 pages, we had what? 1 page of a man, and all the other 5,
single
6
picture of a man
were ladies,
and the rest is ladies. So I think Tudor knows this watch will appeal to the ladies, and I have a feeling it's going to be a hit.
Do you think it's going to be? I mean, men are going to wear it. 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think this is the one thing. Men are going to end up either buying 2, because the women will steal the watch from them, their wives, or their girlfriends, or it will be a surprise hit that so many men are going to wear it, because most of our WhatsApp groups and watch collecting groups are 98% are men. We have a few women, but most of the men are saying, "Oh, I love that watch. It's amazing. I want to have one." Yeah.
Now the question is, I know my wife wants one immediately. She says it's kind of the Oyster Perpetual, the colorful Oyster Perpetual of Tudor. Yeah. Actually, just when I bought your watch, my wife asked me, "Is there any good Tudor models for women?" And so we sat down, we looked through the entire catalog, and there was nothing, right? All of the women's watches look like crap. And they're like forced, right? The shrink it and pink it and diamond it kind of mentality. They're all hideous. There's not one good looking women's watch in Tudor. So then, of course, we said, okay, well, what about the men's watches? Nothing spoke to her. And she's like, that's kind of a bummer. You know, I wanted a Tudor. And then this dropped. And this, she immediately said yes. So now I'm tasked with the fact that I have to find one.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be easy.
The funny thing is I've already seen a couple of wrist shots so people can buy it. Right? So I don't know. Once again, we have no idea. Maybe people are going to be turned off by it in the sense that they're going to go to this showroom. I don't think your average Joe, once again, we're always in this mentality of everyone is a watch nerd. And no, they're not, right? No. Your average Joe is going to walk in. Women do not go to the Tudor boutique. Let's start with that, right? Men go to the Tudor boutique because all the women's models suck. So you're not going to see many women walking in and picking it up. Then the men that are going to go in, your average man is not going to say, "Oh yeah, give me that tiny little baby blue thing." It just does, they're going there for the Pelagos and they're going there for the big Black Bays. Yeah, but on the other hand, you do have the people like the that see the watch, right? And if everybody speaks about the watch, and watch enthusiasts are a bit, to a certain extent, influencers as well in their circle of friends, because they can't help themselves and talk about watches all the time. So so it might spread a bit, but I think there's
it could, but I don't know. I'm really 50-50 on this. It could absolutely blow up and there will be none available, or it will sit there.
So while we are here, then let's have a look at what is this. What is this? Oh, why didn't it didn't even feature in the new watches of 2024 because it's so new. Let me go back.
It was so new that I went to when our watch group was talking about it, I went to the Tudor website. It was still not on there.
Yeah. So let me. Why can't I even? Okay. Copy. I am going to the new Chrono24 website, right? Because they have a
just
new
put
logo.
in 7900. Don't need the 000.
Yeah, I will do.
Ignore that.
I'll do both. That is interesting.
Yes, because it's the same product number as the Black Bay 54. The only difference is the other one is N, and this is not N.
Yeah, it's just the same thing. M901. Okay.
Which is the same as my Black Bay.
Oh, yeah. That's then let's just do a filter and say we want to have the
blue dial
in blue, turquoise,
blue 11. turquoise and blue.
Yeah, let's do turquoise and blue.
There you go.
Yeah, we have a few.
How much?
Price low to high, and let's put it quick.
Jesus Christ, $6,000.
Yeah.
How much is that in
4.5, I think it's in dollars, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me see. I change in dirhams. Yeah, 22.
So people are really trying to take
it's about
advantage of-
16, I think, right? Retail, 16, 17,000
16 is
dirhams.
retail, exactly.
So 22,800 is currently the cheapest
Where?
seller.
US, UK.
But to be honest,
Any
that
in
is
UAE?
actually a pretty small, for being so new, a relatively small premium. Right? Usually it's a bit more than that.
Yeah, of course, but it's a
But
Tudor.
we know it's a Tudor,
And-
so within the hype train, within a year, the hype train will be gone, and then you can get the watch for retail.
I'm
or below.
hoping to find one in a year at a under retail price. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think depending on how
Because I
many
don't
that
think I
comes
would
with.
spend 17K on this. I would not spend 17K on a Tudor Black Bay. I'd spend 10. I'd spend maybe even 12 on this special color.
I think that will
But that's-
take a while. That will take a while.
It's going to, yeah.
That will take a while.
Although for the Tudor Black Bay 54, the regular one to come down in that price, it didn't take very long at all. It took about 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year. It's what I'm saying. It's usually half a year, 1 year, depending on what else comes out, and then the hype dies down a bit.
I'm hoping people forget about this, and then I will pick one up.
Let's see what else comes out, because the cool thing about all of this stuff that happens these days is that Tudor already has produced a couple of watches for this year, new watches for 2025. And they are pretty cool. I mean, there are so few of them that are super exciting, like the Black Bay 58 in super burgundy, with the burgundy bezel and burgundy dial. Then the new Pelagos Ultra, the Black Bay 68, the bigger one, which, by the way, I thought is but ugly on the pictures. You know, the black bezel and the blue dial. Then I put it on my wrist at the Siddiqui event in Minas Salam.
wasn't
in,
bad.
Jumeirah Beach.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this looks good. It really looks good in
it's
person.
so
I
big.
wouldn't think that. It looks nice. I'll show you my wrist shot. Then the new Black Bay.
You showed me already.
Yeah. Black Bay Pro, Black Bay Chrono, now with a 5-link bracelet.
I still hate the Black Bay Chronos. I do not like them.
I do had the very first one. You know, the silver with the steel
Yeah,
bezel.
silver and gold, right?
And when you look at it today, you think, yeah.
No, not the silver and gold. You're talking about the one with the stainless steel bezel.
Correct. And if you look
Yeah.
at it today, you feel like, oh yeah, that was a miss. It just didn't.
I don't like the fact that it's still being called a Black Bay. I think the Chronos should be an entirely different line, and that would help them.
True. I agree with you there, because why is
why?
it part of
Why?
the Black Bay? Everything was Black Bay to a certain extent at some stage.
And the same with the Black Bay Pro. I feel like that also, being that it has a different bezel, it has a fixed bezel, that should also not
also
be.
agree with you.
That's
It could
weird.
be in the adventure
Exactly.
category
They
or
need
something,
to
right?
oh my God. You know what they should have done?
Adventure, racing.
Is they should have called this a Ranger 2.
Yes.
The Ranger is the Explorer. The Explorer 2 would be the Ranger 2. Done. Or the Ranger
point.
GMT.
Yes.
Then that would have been solved. But although at this time the Ranger hadn't come out yet. So that was a thing. The Pelagos is perfect. I think the entire Pelagos range is fantastic. I do think that they need to discontinue a lot of crap. I think Tudor sells.
the Tudor Royale.
No. Not even the Royale. They can keep the Royale because they need a dress watch in their lineup. However, I think they need to get rid of the original Pelagos because the Ultra now has replaced that effectively. They need to get rid of basically anything that is like micro adjust clasps, right? So for instance, the Black Bay 58s, why are you having two different kinds of Black Bay 58? One with Metas and a T-fit or whatever the hell they call it clasp, and then the other one without. They need to get rid of the, what was it? It was on the tip of my tongue. The GMT, the original Black Bay GMT.
Oh, I love that watch. I had two versions of it.
Update it.
Yes.
Do something. I don't understand why they're
case.
like.
It needs a slimmer case, smaller movement, slimmer movement, and they can do it.
Yes.
We know it with the Black Bay 58.
Of course they
GMT,
can do
so
it.
They can do it.
So this is what I don't understand is why on earth are they pumping out meta stuff, new stuff, And then immediately next to it, the old stuff, new dials on old things. Like, why did you just spend all this money developing this blue Black Bay 54 and not making it METAS?
That's a good point.
It just shows me that Tudor's going forward, but at the same time, they're moving laterally as well.
Price, maybe something with the price, because
you look at the Black Bay 58s. The new Black Bay 58 in red, the burgundy one, the all red one, is slightly more expensive, has a better clasp than the blue and the black, and has METAS. So I don't understand.
Yeah. Interesting. I still like the Tudor Ranger a lot. I had it once, didn't gel with it. I mean, I put it on and I thought, it is lovely. But then, you know how it is. Sometimes you get one watch and then another call comes in. And I thought, shit, I just bought this watch. I don't have the funds right now. So I had to sell the Ranger.
The Ranger. Yeah. And then with the Ranger, I think that they do need to make a smaller one.
I did like a 39 millimeters is cool. And it wore a bit like a Datejust. So you put it on and think, wow, this is cool. It just fits and wears super nice. No riveted bracelet. It tapers quite nice. It was just such an easy to wear watch where you thought it's easy to read. It's easy. It's just a perfect everyday watch. Underappreciated. I really liked it.
I watched a thing about this.
I recently looked at it again and thought,
I have been looking at it too.
Buy one back.
They need to make it smaller for me because I think 39 is just a tad too big for a no bezel watch.
Yeah.
But this guy on this mic on this watch, that watch, I think that's his channel. He made a video recently about essentially how high up in the food chain can you go and still call something a field watch, right? And he came to the conclusion that this is still a field watch. However, when you go to the next step of the Rolex Explorer, it has lost its identity as a field watch. And the reason being, this is still essentially all matte. There's no white gold surrounds, right? He said a field watch should be purely functional and you add things to it only that are function.
Okay.
And as soon as you start adding something that is aesthetic, it no longer becomes a field watch. So essentially he was showing that, for instance, from a Hamilton khaki to this, you're gaining chronometer certification. You're gaining a better movement, longer power reserve, a whole bunch of other things. But going from this to the Rolex, all you're gaining now is prettiness. And prettiness is not field watch, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, the Ranger is the best field watch money can buy.
I sort of agree. Because I think this is when, I've just come from a safari in Zambia, and I took my my rebought Panerai with me. The Panerai Luminor Marina 1950 Titanio 3 days power reserve, blah, blah, blah. I put it on the rubber B strap, the green rubber B strap, and I wore it basically nearly the entire time. I also had with me a Norcane, but unfortunately I only wore it 2 times, even though very nice, the Norcane Adventure 43, also on a green rubber strap that I bought, so it matches my safari attire. And I had the Safari Casio.
Okay.
Also really cool with the textile strap. Yeah, so what is the ideal safari watch? For me, it was basically the Panerai because it's so easy to read, and because you're going on a night drive every day, where it's really pitch black in the middle of, there's no light except the lights of the car or the spotter. So that means you actually can use the Lume, and the Panerais have still like this incredible amount of Lume. And I found that the Norcane Lume, and I have to talk to the Küffers about this, is really not going very strong. So it was a bit of a disappointment for this watch, because the Panerai showed me I could read the time in the middle of the night, just after a day in the sun, right? So it's really nice when you have this, when it's really dark. I usually don't need Lume at all, right? Because it's always enough light to read the time. But in this case, I thought, yeah, that is really good when you have it. And of course, big, simple to read. makes it quick to do that. I had my Pelagos 39, which is now yours, on my last safari, and really loved it. Right, so there you go. It's
no takes backs.
No.
It's mine now.
So I wanted to quickly also talk about one more thing, and that is UAE related, and that is the new 75th Ahmed Siddiqui, our distributor here, one of the biggest watch distributors in the world, and of course Rolex dealers of the world, but also distributes a lot of other brands. They have so many different brands. I don't even know how many there are. I think it's 30, 40 different watch brands that they represent in the region and are the sole retailer here as well. So Ahmed Siddiqui has its 75th year of anniversary. I think they were founded 1950, obviously. Yeah, I could have done the math, but yes, 1950. So 2025. So in 1950 they were founded, and in order to celebrate this, Resins has come up with a model for Siddiqui that has, it's a Type 9, but instead of having matte dials or different color dials.
This is very cool because once again, we are going from the Tudor, which people are calling a sand dial, right?
Yes.
A sand textured blue dial,
Yes,
to an actual sand dial.
Yes.
And this is not a sand texture. This is not fake. This is real sand.
They have baked it together somehow or glued it together so it sticks. Before that, Resins had a watch that actually had loose sand in it, but I think this one is a bit glued together so it doesn't. Or maybe it is. Who knows?
Now the question is
it actually loose sand? I don't know. But the point is, it's a 20 pieces watch for Siddiqui.
Can you choose which emirate the sand came from?
No,
because it says here sand from each of the 7 emirates.
And as you can see in this picture which I'm showing you, they have here the different colors of the sand also are the different colors of the emirates, because they're saying the sand is slightly different. As you can see,
and
for example,
I absolutely agree, because I can
is
tell
darker than Dubai. Dubai is the brightest. Abu Dhabi is the second.
Dubai is like this yellow sand. Meanwhile, Abu Dhabi is this red sand, right?
Yes.
And this is absolutely true. You see this when you're driving between the two, emirates. It's ridiculous how different this is.
Yeah, and so they have done that and have actually put off the 7 emirates and mixed it together and put it on the dial. So this is a mix of all of these 7 ones. So you have all 7 emirates sand on this dial. And the strap that they are giving you for this is camel leather.
That's cool. I think it's very, and it looks the price is not going to be cool, but
20,000 Swiss francs, and it's 25 pieces, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 20 pieces, sorry. And it's exclusively available on at Siddiqui. This watch is grade 5 titanium. Water resistance is only 10 meters. So, that's I think the downside. It should definitely not a pool watch. In any case, it has a leather strap, so you don't do that. But
so, what is this thing that's sticking out there on the left?
Where?
We see that protrusion.
I don't know. I mean, if it is true that this is more or less loose sand, then maybe these are just compartments to stop sand from just sloshing around.
Getting into certain things. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually glued together or not. Anyhow, so it's 39 millimeters, 11 millimeters thick. It's pretty amazing. I recently tried one on the Resins watches, and I'm a big fan since they came out. It is lovely. I think it's a very nice watch. 20 people will be very happy spending 20,000.
I've always liked Resins, and I just think they're, obviously for the price, it's a little bit much for me, but I love the idea.
I always looked at the used prices for Resins watches, but they keep their price relatively well.
They're not very low. I know I did the same. Frankly, to me, I still love the black oil-filled original one.
Yes, I think it's Type 2.
I think it's such a classic color.
But the oil-filled ones are amazing, yeah.
I think Type 3 it is, right?
I'm not too deep into it anymore, but I forgot about it. I still like it.
Unfortunately.
So one more.
Speaking of another thing we're going to promptly forget about.
Yes. 2 watches that I wanted to show. Both are 50 fathoms from Blancpain. And one is, I literally thought this is a new Blancpain, a Swatch Blancpain.
Swatch. I did too. I saw this release and I was, look, another swatch color.
And it's actually a real one. And it costs 18,400 euros or nearly 70,000 dirhams. I mean, 68 or something. It's a steel, it's a titanium version in pink and 58 millimeters. Has a wonderful 1153 movement in it with 100 hours of power reserve. In a NATO sort of strap, but it's not really a NATO strap because it's too...
it's a cloth strap.
Yeah, it's just...
They call it NATO,
Two-piece, I think. Let me see here if it says two-piece. No, it doesn't. But it's this pin buckle.
No, it says strap type NATO, so maybe it is a full NATO.
Yeah, but it looks like it.
It looks like it, yeah. Maybe it does go under and we just can't see it.
Or it does the same as the Tudor watches where you have a spring bar soon.
Yeah, so it doesn't move around.
So it's, yeah. It's a one, what do you call one loop?
One piece strap.
Single loop or something, yeah. So yeah, it's very pretty for ladies if you like pink, or if you're a man and you like pink, that's cool.
It's a mother of pearl dial as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, you cannot deny the quality of the watch.
Did they take the date window? They took the date window.
Yes, because
away
of 38.
For this one.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, because I was like, I would love a 38 Blanc. And then for the other one, for the black dial, they put the date window
You're
back.
right. There's no,
So I'm guessing it's because, mother of pearl is extremely difficult to mill into.
Yeah,
so they don't want to cut holes into.
Yeah, because the new 38 millimeter black Blancpain 50 fathoms automatic is out, and it is even more expensive. It's 19,380 euros.
No, this is because this one comes on the bracelet.
Yes.
So if you were to find the strap one.
So this
No, they have a strap one. They come in three things. They come bracelet, strap, or the sailcloth.
Yeah.
So you can choose, and in addition, you can choose 3 metals. You can get steel, titanium, or yellow gold.
This is a 12 millimeter thick watch, 300 meters water resistance, 38.2 millimeters with a 90 millimeter lug width. It's a steel watch, and it's nearly 20,000 euros or 70,000 dirhams. I think it's 68,000 dirhams. And that's my biggest gripe with it. While this watch is it needs to be half that price. Right? We wanted a small version of the 50 fathoms in the standard catalog. In the permanence collection, and now we got it, and we got even the nice better indices, I would say, with the numbers and all of the stuff. It's actually a cool looking watch.
It's a good looking watch, but no one is going to pay this much for it.
That's the challenge, because it's like the price of 2 Submariners, or yeah.
And who's going to buy this? No one.
And it's a bit of a shame that they couldn't put the 1315 movement in it, but they put the 1150 movement in it with 100 hours of power.
So, by the way, the difference between the 1350 and the 1150 is this one will have a slower beat rate, and it will have a 100 hours instead of 120 hours.
Correct. And as I said before in this episode, I checked my Blancpain 50 fathoms bathyscaphe with the 1315 movement, and they overachieved with the Blancpain movement, the 1315. It didn't have 120 days of power reserve. It had 138 or 136 hours, so an extra 16 hours of power reserve. And that was my most precise watch I had. It beat even my Rolexes from a daily variation. It was absolutely insane. And these movements are made by a single watchmaker from the beginning to end. So Blancpain is really absolutely, that's why they are so expensive. They actually put in a lot of craftsmanship. At least
they do.
Not as automated as others.
And it has 28 diamonds inside, it says.
Jewels, rubies.
But for the jewel, they put a little picture of a diamond, like a princess cut diamond. So, all right, you wanted to talk about one more watch today.
Okay.
What was the last watch on our list?
Oh, we have a new Oris.
I do.
Yeah, we do have that. Let me check my list because there was one more. Polaris. We had also the JLC Polaris, and the Longines.
No, that's not the one you wanted
Diver.
to talk about. The Longines Legend Diver 39 in white. Okay. We've discussed. That one really is not much to say. There's no need to really talk much about it. It's a white dial Legend Diver. They haven't done a white dial, if ever, but now they have. Dun, dun, dun. And this one is matching. This is going with their other Longines Legend Diver 39s, the blue, black, and now white dials.
Yeah.
Ralph has tried to go to the Oris website,
Which, for
and
whatever
it seems
reason,
like
my
the
VPN
Oris
doesn't
website
let
is
me,
down.
Whatever.
That's very strange.
Yeah,
there it is.
sometimes it
Boom.
happens.
Oris Aquis. You passed it already.
No, I have this here. So I have this.
So what's so special about this Oris Aquis?
What is special about this watch? It's the relief dial. It's an Oris Aquis, which was not available with this relief dial, where you have these things poking out, basically the indices. The numbers and the indices of the diving bezel. They are three-dimensional, so they're poking out. That's new. That's why it's called a relief.
Relief.
Or relief.
Relief is the opposite of
relief.
Engrave, right? Relief means that something is sticking up.
Yeah.
So yes, so the bezel has three-dimensional numbers.
It's big.
Very much like the Yachtmaster.
Correct.
Right? It's exactly like a Yachtmaster.
Yes, correct. So that's it. It's coming in the normal standard movement, I think. It's a Sellita SW200, blah, blah, blah. 48-hour power reserve, because as we said before, they don't get the updated versions like the Powermatic 80 and all of the stuff of the 2824. And 2,000 Swiss francs, 2,300 on the bracelet.
Nothing doing nothing for me.
Yeah, for me neither. I like the hands though. I think the hands are cool. But other than that, okay. 43 millimeters.
Right.
Then the new Legend Diver.
Longines Legend Diver white.
In
nothing
white dial.
here.
It looks a bit odd. I think what you see here is
like
the Beads of Rice bracelet is not. I'm not a fan of. Second one, in white, these internal rotating bezel is way too big. Don't you think? It looks just so broad in white.
What really turned me off, I tried this one. It looks nice on the wrist. But what I don't like is the fact that the lume plots are at 4, 3, 6, and 9 in like these big chunks, you see? And that to me looks ugly as hell.
Yeah, they just have this
inset.
Weird.
No, they do have the dots for the other ones as well, but those are outset. These are inset inside of the numerals, and it looks stupid.
It's a bit weird.
I don't like that.
Yeah, and of course you have the two crowns because of the internal rotating.
I like the two crowns. I like the Polaris has the two crowns. This has the two crowns. I'm okay with the two crowns. Some people hate it. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. And what was
there
else?
was one Moritz Grossman I wanted to talk about. Let me see if I can find it. This is here. It's a new green edition of the Tremblage version. And why I wanted to talk about it is I read a bit more in detail about the Tremblage, and that I didn't know how Moritz Grossman does it. And that was pretty spectacular to look at it. So basically all of this, the entire dial is one piece. There is no applied indices and no print. So that means that.
So this is also done in the what's it called? The Allungenzona. They have their higher end models, which is, I forgot what they were called. They have a name for it. And they do the same thing. So essentially you have a sheet of copper or whatever it is, bronze, brass, whatever it is. And then they start, or silver, and they start digging away.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. By
and
hand.
all they're left with is the numbers and the dial design.
Yeah. So you basically tremble. I mean, it's just vibrate or just hammer it, like little things. So that makes each dial also individual. And then you just have this little relief or form inside. I mean, like the sand dial, if you want to call it, but it's tremblage. And you're not hammering basically on the indices, the minute track and the second track and even the logo. So it's a lot of things that you have to not tremble on in order to have it stand out, and then of course polish it in order to read it. It's a very very nice. So
by the way, they call this in longer terms Handwerkskunst.
Handwerkskunst. They call it a bit similar here with Moritz Grossman. They call it schönstes deutsches Handwerk. I think it's what they call it. Which is schönstes deutsches Handwerk, the most beautiful German craftsmanship. And problem with this watch is, of course, it comes only in gold, so either rose gold or white gold, and it has, of course, a beautiful movement. wonderfully decorated with even diamonds as jewels. It's fantastic. It's just amazing.
It is cool.
But you have 18,000 vibrations per hour, so it's with a big balance wheel. It's so very traditional, and you have 42 hours of power reserve, which is not very much. Of course, it's not automatic; it's hand wind, so that you have a lot of winding to do when you wear this watch.
And for the low price of only 56,000 euros.
6,000 euros. It's just like, woof. I mean, I can understand why, but man, that's a.
Yeah, it's a little rich for my blood. I mean, once again, even if I had 56,000 euros, I wouldn't be spending it on this.
But I must say,
for sure.
It's limited to 8 pieces in each of the versions. So each in white, 8 in white gold, 8 in rose gold. But I must say, the new logo of Moritz Grossmann now finally works for me. Because before that, they had this Moritz Grossmann logo that looked so awkward. It looked like a shopping mall. I don't know.
I think I remember. Let's see if I do remember. The old one was the stupid one with the I know
like
exactly what you mean. Shopping mall,
or a perfumery store or something, right?
Yes. This one is a little bit. It looks more vintage for sure.
Now it looks. Nice.
It looks. It looks age appropriate. We'll say.
Yeah. I think so.
Moritz Grossmann, the Carrefour of watchmaking.
For the cheap price. I mean, they still have this general logo, but on
this
watch,
one looks cool.
It's really, really nice. This is
I like it.
Beautiful watch. And I have this little button. I don't know actually what it does. I think it's...
That was my first question. Is what does this button do? Because
it's a reset.
It's a three-hand watch.
It's a reset device. So when you pull out the crown and you press this button, the second hand springs to 0 to set the watch easier. Let me see if that's correct.
That
what
sounds
I'm saying.
superfluous entirely.
Huh?
That's entirely not needed.
No.
Oh no, it's a chronometer. It's a chronometer because look, it's a monopusher because you have a sub-seconds dial.
Yeah, but you don't have. You have a minute hand. It's not a.
No, don't you have 3 hands?
You have 3 hands.
No. Oh no, I thought you meant like 3 hands on the from the center spindle.
No, it's a setting device.
No, it's only 2. Okay, then it's not a chronometer or chronograph.
The movement. Wow, there's so much of.
Yeah, but to not be able to wait. I mean, I guess the people spending 56,000 euros on a watch don't have the time to sit around for 30 seconds and wait for the time, to come all the way around to set it.
But it's super cool, right? I mean, it really saves you
a very
a maximum
unnecessary
of 59 seconds.
Exactly. Although I've been known to.
So over the years, this can
set mine a little
accumulate to maybe
prematurely.
2 hours.
And that 2 hours, for those of you that are making billions and billions a year,
is worth a lot.
Will pay for the watch itself.
It's worth a lot. So let me see where it says that. I mean, if that's the case. Man.
It looks like one of those warts, like like a wart on your nose.
Yeah.
It just sticks out for no reason.
No, but I think this is what it does. Oh, why doesn't it say so? I'm just limited to 8 to special watches for an ancient.
It's a new thing. All right.
Okay.
I think we've reached our Moritz Grossmann time limit for today. I don't think anyone has spent this much time on a Moritz Grossmann in their lives. Not even the people making it spend this much time.
Okay. Yeah, so that's
right.
basically the watches we wanted to talk about and tell you about, which we like. But hey, there's more coming. And I love this. I wanted to say this before. I love that we now have basically watch releases every single week. It got me a bit fatigued in the beginning of the year, right? Which I thought like, oh man, every week there's a new Omega. Every week there's new other things coming out where I think, enough. I can't even focus on one thing. I can't even digest one watch or one release of one week before the next week comes with another releases. So a love-hate relationship. On one hand, I like that there's so much new coming out. On the other hand, I think we don't have time to even digest or get through them or even like them because the hype train moves on so fast. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
All right.
And on
now
that,
it is time to go. My wife is beckoning me to get off. So time has come. But
then
all right.
We hear and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.